Hey YouTube, it's JRo here, bringing you another video, and today I have a very special guest with me. This is actually the first video that I'll be doing with my friends. I know in my channel introduction I said that, I want to focus more on my friends and the experiences we have, and so far it's just been solo videos. So today, without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to my friend who likes to be referred to as R.
Guys.
And today we have something a bit different today. It's kind of an idea that I had that kind of sparked off the real talk that I had at the end of my H1Z1 video. And basically, what this video is going to be about, what it's going to be about, is it's just basically going to be current things that are going on in the world that we may agree with each other on, we may disagree with them. You know, so I mean, without further ado, we actually have a couple of topics here today. And the first topic that we're going to be talking about is internet fads and kind of how the internet handles itself. And what I mean by that is just basically, as far as internet fads go, that could cover anything as far as like challenges and stuff like that. And it could also, cover stuff like, something as simple as, well, I guess it's not simple, but cyberbullying. So let's get started. I mean, what do you think about, stuff like that? Like, what do you think as far as challenges go? Because I spoke my mind on this earlier today.
Yeah, I completely agree with you as far as challenges go. Just like challenges, and it probably all sparked from like the planking, like however long ago that was, where everyone was taking pictures of themselves doing that kind of thing. And it's just like the stupid things that the internet does for the like 5 seconds of fame. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, like I said earlier, there is definitely good internet challenges. The most recent one obviously being the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Raise money and awareness for a good cause. Of course, it was perfect, honestly. But you see challenges these days where it doesn't even make sense. Like, there was that one a couple of months ago where people were setting themselves on fire and jumping into the
Really?
bathtub for, some entertainment. That's one of like the more low-key challenges, but that's kind of like where my resentment towards challenges go, and I miss that guy completely. And but I mean, I'm not saying that they're all bad, but for sure, guys, I mean, if it gets to a point where you're setting yourself on fire for some views on the internet, just please, guys, stop, because you could honestly get
Yeah,
severely injured doing stuff like that.
yeah,
I mean, do you have anything else to say on that? Because I think that perfectly wraps it up.
yeah. That was good.
Um, so the next, by the way, the topics we have, they get a little bit more serious as we go. Obviously, uh, internet fads such as challenges really, aren't that big of a thing. But something like cyberbullying is, cyberbullying is, it's just cruel. It honestly is. And you see pictures all the time where people are saying, the answer to cyberbullying is just to close your computer. I mean, that's really not the case, though. A lot of the time, cyberbullying is something that starts out on the internet, and then when you go to school, it keeps going. It doesn't stop on the internet. It doesn't stop just because you close your
Yeah.
computer. And
Like, not always though. Like sometimes it can be cyberbullying where it's just like you're trolling a chat room or something,
yeah,
or you're
for
or
sure.
you're playing video games. That's like you can mute. There's always a mute option, but for sure there's like cyberbullying that goes further than the internet that can like expand. And then there's like no matter like what the situation is, whether you leave the situation or not, like it still hurts to hear that kind of thing. Like being called names or that sort of thing. It still sticks with you no matter how, like whether you leave or not.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I think some of the first instances of cyberbullying that I heard of was, I mean, girls joining random chat rooms and, people taking advantage of her, and stuff like that. And, that kind of stuff, sometimes that kind of stuff can be handled with, just leaving the chat room. But nowadays, we have apps like, Snapchat and stuff like that, where I mean, you're putting these types of pictures in the hands of people that, you go to school with or you work with, that kind of stuff. So I mean, really, the only thing that I think you can do about cyberbullying is just, just be careful of what you're doing and who you're doing it with.
Yeah, for sure.
There is sometimes short-term answers to it, but there's also a lot of times where there isn't, and I mean, it can make your life miserable.
Yeah, then there's definitely ways to avoid it. Like,
Yeah.
don't go into chat rooms like an idiot.
Yeah, for sure. So I think that wraps it up for cyberbullying. The next topic we have is how much things cost in the good old US of A. And more specifically, I think we're talking about, the cost of colleges and healthcare and stuff like that. And I mean, not necessarily just colleges, but just like education in general. Like, I know we both just recently graduated from high school.
Yeah.
Within, the past 2 months, we both recently graduated from high school. And I honestly don't know about him, but I had to pay, I mean, you buy your cap and gown and stuff like that. And my school also has fees that you have to pay in order to graduate. We also have class fees and stuff like that.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, we did. I don't know. It was ridiculous. It was
Like, what
like
kind of fees? What fees do you pay?
I think there was like a $45 fee for graduation, and then I think a lot of that was just like diploma and stuff like that. But I mean, diploma can't cost that much. Let's be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
We had nothing like that. There
And
was
then every year that you went to school there, oh, I just got hit by an op somewhere. Oh, there he is. Every year, you go to school there, they also tack on another $5 to your student fees for class fees. So I mean, obviously.
Does that include like the specific class fees? Like
No, it
for
doesn't.
chemistry, I remember it's like you have to pay $5 for anything you break, or maybe like up to 15 or something like that, in case you like break something. So that's not included in the
No,
$5.
that's not included. That's a different fee, and it's just basically stuff like that I'm talking about. Obviously it's different depending on schools. Like, he didn't have to pay,
Nice shot.
his class fees or fees to graduate or something like that. But I did, so I mean that just shows how much it can vary. But I mean, when you look back, I don't know, probably about, I don't know, 15, maybe even like 10, 15 years ago. You know, I I talk to people, like I talk to my family and stuff like that, and when they first found out that I had to pay that much money just to graduate, like they were astonished.
That's
It's
the one.
not like, college aside, just even at a high school level, there are some places where it is just ridiculously. I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm kind of tired.
You got it, dude.
I know. I got
Or
it.
should we say that it is 2 o'clock in the morning while we're recording?
Yes, it is. It is very early in the morning. It is 2:30 for me and 1:30 for him.
Yeah, nice shot.
But I mean, the cost of education is just so expensive, and it's
Yeah.
something so necessary in this world anymore. But it kind of seems like we're moving towards a point where only those who are fortunate to have money can get that education.
It's schools looking for every way they can to get money from the students. Like,
Yeah.
we didn't have the graduation fees, but people expected there to be graduation fees. Like, they definitely asked. They were like, "Does it cost money to get tickets for our parents? Like, and is there any fees to get in?" Like that kind of thing. But it goes past like just the random fees and stuff to like projects in the classroom and stuff
Yeah.
like that, where you have to buy like materials for your project. It's like some kids can't afford that. Like, we did a project in my physics class this year that was a required project that if you didn't like participate in, you would fail. There's no way you could pass the class. It's like a good maybe up to 50% of your grade for the second semester, and the costs were like I think the most expensive group was like a good $200 at least. And some people can't afford to pay like a 4-person group. That's $50 per. There's
Yeah.
kids that just don't have that money lying around.
Yeah, and one thing I also wanted to say is, like, you were talking about people were expecting, graduation fees and stuff like that. Like, that's not stuff that they tell you, up front. that's something that they kind of keep hidden from you until, you're going to pay your class fees, to sign out and to be done, and then they hit you with it. Unless, you're one of those people or parents that, keep up, with that a lot and, what's going on with all that.
Yeah, check in a lot. Like
But,
you have to ask for the information, or they just don't give it to you.
yeah, and for people who don't, I mean, I'm sorry, but you're pretty much screwed over because you're gonna learn about it, last minute. And I mean, honestly, I've honestly never heard of this happening, but it would be such a crushing, just a crushing blow, to see someone not graduate because they couldn't pay the $45 that the school didn't tell them about till the last minute, you know. Um, and then you got colleges,
Knife it
and
out, knife it out, knife it out, knife it out,
and
knife it out, knife it out.
that's just it's ridiculously expensive to
Yeah,
go to
it's a whole
college.
nother level. It's a whole nother level.
So I mean, we sit here and you know parents and society, they expect their kids to go to college and to get this good education to be able to do these higher level jobs and stuff like that. But it's just becoming so expensive that it seems like if you didn't have money from the beginning, you're not gonna have money later on.
Yeah, and like you're paying those debts off like years and years after you graduate. It's not. It just doesn't end when you get out of college. And then what I learned recently was there's application fees to every college in the US. Basically, I have not heard of a college that doesn't have an application fee, like a fee to apply.
Yeah.
And that's not a thing outside the US. Like I saw a post on Facebook recently that people were like astounded in other countries that were like that you have to pay to apply to the college. Like what is that money even paid for? Like the majority of it's electronic. Like there's no cost of that, is there? Like maybe paying the people to look at your application, but like really.
Yeah. I mean, just all around, school can be so expensive, and it's almost ridiculous. And when you hear things like, Obama wanting, whether you like him or not, I mean, he wants to make the first 2 years of community college for free, for
Yeah.
students. I mean, that's a great thing. You could save so much money taking those 2 years at community college without paying for them, nonetheless. Without paying for them, you could save so much money. It would honestly be a life-changing difference if our country had something like that.
I mean, to play as a devil's advocate, like I was talking to my econ teacher about it, and he said that there's like if you take money, if you lose money there, like there's people going that leave regular college to go to community college. There's going to be less money going towards like universities and stuff, like big universities, because they have to go and they have to pay this bunch of money where they could go to community college and get a free 2-year education. That's going to be less money going towards the universities, and that's going to raise the universities' prices, like as far as tuition goes. So it like takes money from, or it's cheaper at one end, but it raises money for the next level that you would go to.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost a vicious circle, honestly.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
just a flawed system overall.
yeah, for sure, for sure. And we're not even gonna get started on healthcare because it's the same thing, It's the exact same thing as education. It's just so expensive. The alternatives aren't, that cheap either. It's pretty much the same thing
And
here.
even if you have healthcare, like some surgeries still cost like crazy amounts of money, like some hip replacements and like just replacements of that sort. Like it's ridiculous how much it costs, even if you
Yeah.
have health insurance. And
Yeah.
then if you get hurt with health insurance, you can still get hit with fees, and they find loopholes to get out of paying you
I mean,
for having health insurance.
not to
It's-
mention the fact that you could get something like cancer and your insurance agency could just decline to pay you, anything. They could just sit there and say, no, we're not going to pay for that, So I mean,
Yeah.
it's definitely a very flawed system, just like the education system. I'm sure as most of you guys know that. But we're gonna move on to the next topic, which is police brutality. It's, you know, definitely something that's been very big in the media as of lately. There's definitely, you know, a lot of things going on as far as like racial things and stuff like that. There's a lot going on, and I think my main piece on this is I don't like people that say that it's solely like it's just all cops. Like, it's not all cops. Yes, there are some crooked cops out there. There's no doubt about that. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just fact. But that's something that'll never change, and it's very unfortunate that it will never change. But at the same time, there's still good cops out there trying to do their job, and you know, I mean, showing, just for the record, showing any policeman brutality shouldn't revolt, or shouldn't, you know, they should not use lethal force on you. I absolutely believe that, you know, there's different ways for a police officer to handle the situation without using deadly force.
It definitely depends on the situation. Like, if I'm
Yeah.
being shot at and I'm a police officer, I'm gonna pull my gun out. But like,
Yeah, but like, I
that-
mean, if you get struck once, you know, there's no reason. I mean, you have a
You're right.
taser, you have many other utilities at
Yeah.
your disposal to handle that situation accordingly. But
like
there are some cops who out there who, you know, decide that lethal force is the only choice, and it's unfortunate because it,
just like
99% of the time
negli-
it results in a death, and it's really unfortunate.
just neglecting the rules, neglecting like what they have to basically do. Like the guy they arrested, I can't remember his name at the point, but like they put him in the back of the police van or the police truck and didn't like secure him down, so he was just rolling around in the back of the truck. Like, that's just negligence. That's just over the top. You know, there's no need for that. There's no way you put a man in the back of the car and then forget to like fasten him down. And
Yeah.
he's obviously going to get injured. And then the guy that reached into his car to get like his wallet, and the police pulled out his gun and shot the crap out of it. It's like there's no need. Like,
Yeah.
like so you I mean, I get where he's coming from. I guess like there's a chance he's going to grab a gun, but I mean, compared to like you also have to look at it, there's also a good chance he's going to grab his wallet. Like, he didn't even consider that. He just went straight to shooting. There's no in between. And I think there's a lot of good cops that know that in between, that know that, but they don't get focused on because the media likes to focus on the negative aspect. They like to show a lot of the negative because that's what people want to see.
Yeah.
So the good cops don't get their light. So the cops get like a negative light shone on them.
Yeah, also another thing that comes to mind when I talk about police brutality, I saw this video on Facebook a long time ago. But basically it was a comparison video of these two African American males, and basically they lived in different areas. They had no affiliation with each other. But they were both walking down the street with an AR-15.
Hey guys, do you know if you can do
Which,
missions?
you know, I mean, it's legal to do, you know, which is scary.
Guys, do you know that?
But it's legal to do, and one of the responding officers, you know, he had the guy get on the ground, you know, he's putting him in cuffs and stuff like that, and the other officer, he walked up to the situation, and, you know, he kindly talked to the man, and, you know, he was asking me, you know, why do you have that? You know, you're scaring people, etc. But, I mean, those videos are so one-sided because there's so many different factors that play in that. Like, just even something like the person who called it in could be the person who changed that situation entirely. If someone calls into a police station saying that there's a man running around with an AR-15 threatening to kill people against the person who's just saying, hey, there's a man walking down the street with an AR-15, I'm kind of, you know, scared right now.
Yeah.
That situation would be handled differently.
It's all perspective. Just like, and then yeah, especially that call. Like if someone there's difference between the calls,
Anybody have my?
definitely.
Yes,
But
you
that's
just
just like
never mind.
And of
who
course
the
you,
person is
of
and like
course
how they perceive things.
yeah, and of course it is just the person-to-person thing as well. And to be completely honest with you,
What?
if I see you walking down the street with an AR-15, I don't care what race you are. I really don't care. I'm going to ask you to get on the ground because I'm gonna look out for my own life first, you know?
He was holding it right, like it was like out. It wasn't in like a holster or something, or
No,
like
no, no. It wasn't like an AR-15 is a big assault rifle.
no,
You
but
know?
like he wasn't. He was actually holding it.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I mean, he wasn't like holding it, but it's like slung around his back. You know? I mean, it's well within public view. You know?
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna take the precautionary route and ask him to get on the ground. You know? I'm not racist,
Sorry.
but you know, I just don't, you know, feel like getting shot that day.
Yeah, like that's totally gonna cause like unnerving. There's nobody that's gonna see a guy walking down the street with an assault rifle and be like, oh, that's fine. That's like
It's
it's
gonna be the
totally.
last game.
I mean, I'm sure there's somebody out there, but the majority of the general public is gonna see a guy with an assault rifle and be like, oh my god, like he's gonna go shoot somebody.
Yeah. So I mean,
Chill.
That's like an easy reaction. Like
yeah. So I think that wraps that up perfectly. So we're gonna move on to our last topic of the night, which is a big one right now. It also well, I mean, it really does have to do with racism as well. It's the Confederate flag. Now I think this one we have conflicting arguments on.
yeah,
Uh, basically, I think, you know, the Confederate flag, right? It does stand for a bad cause. But at the same time, you know, I mean, at one point there were people who, you know, were representing that flag who weren't, you know, fighting for the reason a lot of people know it as it is today. So to different people, that flag means different things. And I don't think if you honestly, if you're gonna sit there and you're gonna say, well, that flag, you know, it stands for something that I don't like, we should take it down. I don't think we should have flags in general because different nations stand for different things. A lot of people don't like the United States of America because of the actions we take. But we're not, you know, we're not gonna just give up on our flag. You know, it's because it's something we stand for, good or bad. And I just don't think that the Confederate flag is really that big of a deal. But I mean, there is definitely some cases where it is a bad thing. But honestly, my main concern with stuff like this is I think it's in North Carolina where they have some of their street names are the names of like generals from the Civil War. And I mean that is far more an issue for me than the Confederate flag.
yeah,
But I just don't think that, you know, we should disgrace a flag because some people don't take it a certain way. I
see what you're saying. Basically, to each their own would be my usual response, but like people like supporting it under the tense of heritage, like that, like the Confederate flag today, the one that is overly represented, is the Confederacy battle flag. It is not the Stars and Bars original flag, which is what the Confederacy began with, like their original flag. It is the actual flag of the Civil War, which, like, although it isn't like widely agreed upon, the majority of the reason of the Civil War was a difference of views. The North was trying to outlaw slavery, and the South was fighting for slavery, and they supported it. And that was like the major reason, which people will obviously differ on depending on your opinion. But that there is a big like back to the Confederate flag, and it is very attached to slavery, and like, that is a big, like, people see it, and that is like one of the first things it represents. And to sport that flag, like the flag that people fought for, like for the southern states that they fought for, which was their biggest standpoint was slavery and like trying to keep that alive. That bothers me a little bit. Like to support the one symbol, like the one remaining symbol of one of the darkest times of the U.S. Like one of the worst things that the U.S. has done to a people. It bothers me.
Yeah.
Like that is my like why I'm kind of against the Confederate.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with some of those points. But you know, like I said, I think the only thing that, you know, that has me saying that we shouldn't outlaw it is the fact that, you know,
barely missed it.
I'm working on my spray.
in the United States, we love our country. And
True.
it's no secret to the world. We are very brash about it a lot of the time. And, you know, we'll stand up for our country when we need to. But we do bad stuff too. We do a lot of bad stuff, you know, as far as like the world goes. But, you know, we'll sit here and we'll still say, yeah, I'll support the flag. Even though, you know, we just drone striked a village in Iraq that had 30 kids in it, you know? But we'll still stand by that flag. But we will not stand by a flag that people fought for once a good reason, that, you know, turned worse, you know, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
No, I just don't know.
I mean, we can't do that. If you're gonna sit here and say, oh, actually, no, teammate. If you're gonna sit here and say, you know, that this flag is just, it's bad and there's no reason that we should stand for it, then my response is, you know, why should we stand for the American flag? I love my country, you know, and I'm not racist either, trust me, you know, but
No.
I just,
No.
each flag has its rights and wrongs with it, you know, they're represented by many different things
No.
and, you know, ideas. So I'm just not gonna be the type of person who sits there and says, you know, let's outlaw this flag and or this flag, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
Aw.
There's
It's a
definitely
Brown's paradox,
bad
but
behind each
that's
flag.
okay.
There's definitely a lot of
It's
bad
my
that the U.S. has
business.
done as a whole, and there's a lot of bad that
Yeah.
other countries have done as a whole. And they stand by their flags. So I understand where the southern states are coming from when they want to keep the Confederate flag in circulation, or
Yeah.
maybe not in circulation, but like they're against outlawing it.
I think definitely for sure as a compromise though, I mean, I think it was in North Carolina, they have the Confederate flag just waving high above, you know, their capital. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's definitely one of those
Isn't
things.
it incorporated into their state flag?
I actually have no idea. I have no idea about that.
They're all looking at it.
But you know, they have it flying high, you know, and they refuse to take it down. And, you know, while it is their right to do that, if it's really that offensive to people, it shouldn't be something that's so public. It just really shouldn't, especially as a state.
Definitely wrong about it being the North Carolina flag.
Like I said, I think it was North Carolina, guys, but I could be wrong about that.
I don't have a good
But,
knife, so
you
I
know,
wouldn't do it.
I just, yeah, I really have nothing else to say on that topic.
No, never.
But as like, if they have it flying high, what's the difference between them having it flying high and them?
Well, I think there's a difference between like supporting it, and then, but then there's like what we're doing right now. It's, you know, this is offending people. And we're not doing it in a private way, we're doing it in a very public way. And it almost kind of seems like they're doing it to spite people at this point, you know? I mean, I don't know if that makes sense, but like...
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but what I think you have to consider is like, they're showing support for what they believe, and like, they're trying to like fight against this outlaw of their heritage. And I definitely see where they're coming from, but like I said before when I first started my argument, why I disagree with the the Confederate flag is they're not using the original Confederate flag. They're using the battle flag that the South flew while they went into battle, fighting for like their right to be separate from the U.S. and to keep slavery and whatever else, like tax benefits or something. There's definitely an incorporation about tax, but
Yeah.
what the negative aspect, which was slavery, and I think that could be rectified with them going to like an earlier form of the flag, or them changing it a little bit and not flying that symbol for racism that's been worked by like skinheads and like that type of people that take it over the top and like go over, like overexpress their views. Like they get violent about it and they get like it's too much. I think it can be easily rectified with just using like the original Confederate flag as opposed to the one that is a symbol for like this hate and like the pain of the country.
Yeah. Well, that is actually all the topics we have for today, guys. This is, I don't know, this is kind of something that I kind of just thought of tonight. Well, that we thought of tonight. But you know, I mean, I think I really enjoyed this. We might do this again. I don't know, we'll see. But
I only need to 8 more.
But I think, you know, I think tonight it wasn't really more so about gaming. I played offline every CSGO game I played tonight. It wasn't really about gaming tonight. It was kind of like, it was more so about things that were pertaining to the world. And I think a lot of people, with how, you know, the media and social media can skew things, a lot of people end up, you know, misinformed about situations and or uneducated about them. And I think it's really good to, you know, be knowledgeable in these subjects. You know, I mean, because if you're gonna sit there and, you know, you're just gonna spew hate to cover hate
2 more kills.
because you don't have like a full grasp on the understanding, guys, that's only gonna make it worse, you know. So I think basically, you know, long story short, guys, it's just you gotta be educated about the topic, and there's nothing wrong with having your own stance on it, but don't spew hate all over the internet, you know, just because you don't agree with something or someone, you know.
To add to that, I think it's also good to like we were doing, like especially with the last topic we did, and it's good to discuss and like hear different ideas and hear the facts and what they have to back it up. Like I think it's good to hear both sides of the story.
Yeah.
In their entirety.
Yeah, I completely agree. But like I said, guys, you know, that's all the topics we have. I really did enjoy making this, and hopefully we'll get to do it again because this was really fun. But anyway,
I enjoyed it.
There was really no gaming talk, I don't think, at all.
Not really.
So I don't know, that might be something we tweak around a bit. When we were coming up with ideas for this, we did have one gaming idea, but we just didn't have a firm grasp on it. And that kind of goes along with what I was saying about, you know, not having, you know, just the facts. And, you know, we wanted to have a discussion, and not an argument, but a discussion about things that we both had a firm grasp on. So yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this, and I will see you guys in the next one.